All right, welcome everybody. We're back going into game 2 between Team WE and Rogue Warriors. This is the last day of the regular season. And for both of these teams, maybe it's a vacation, but for the most part, WE is trying to find that pride, and Rogue Warriors apparently trying to find that talent as Holder demolished them in game 1.
Yeah, definitely did. And of course, like you mentioned, the game doesn't mean a thing in terms of standing implications. It is a bit of a show match, but from what we could tell in that first game, they were actually taking it pretty seriously, both of these teams. And, you know, Holder's the one you highlight. I agree, had a standout showing.
Yeah, really well done. Now, that being said, remember, Rusty doesn't have a lot of fans in the play-by-play department. And with the standing of this game, I will be coming in as play-by-play/color. It's going to be a double color. Don't call me
really
a
not
play-by-play.
sure what it is, actually.
Yes, I'm something. I'm a presence. Something that we've got to announce to the audience, of course, is Rogue Warriors making a swap, bringing in Mouse and Flawless. So we're going to be seeing what is potentially the playoff 5-man roster of Rogue Warriors coming in. Changes the top side of the map drastically.
Yeah.
A lot more carry potential, strength coming out of Flawless, but for the top side of the map, you're going to be seeing that sturdy Mouse.
And a lot less from Mouse, who does play the tanks. His most played champion is Mundo by a country mile. It's his most played by a significant amount. Now, he plays the tanks. Flawless plays the carries, like you mentioned. Lee Sin's back, so there's possibilities he actually plays the big carries as well, into the likes of the Kindred that we saw in game number 1, into the likes of the Olaf that we've been seeing running around. And it does, to me, feel a little bit like tryouts almost from Rogue Warriors. You know, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've had Holder and Kiwi. We haven't seen Mouse or Flawless.
Yeah.
When they bring back the Raid Boss duo once again, the starting roster of Rogue Warriors, in my mind, anyway, I see this as like you got to reprove yourself, bro. That guy just went off. Like, you got to step up.
He kind of messed things up. You guys kind of have to at least do something. It's one of those situations. It's interesting because, you know, we go week to week. We've seen Holder and the Shades as a substitute for quite some time. We haven't seen Kiwi. You bring in Kiwi in the roster, and suddenly it's possible to bring in a Chinese jungler along with a top lane that has very valuable Korean talent. So you're right. Seems like a bit of a tryout period. Kiwi did his job, helped out Doomby take down that mid lane turret. CA felt that pressure, might feel the pressure again in game 2. We'll have to see if Flawless can come in and play flawlessly.
And I also wonder, speaking towards WE, whether or not we'll see the Lulu in the mid lane again, because Doomby was very confidently handling that one. And I will say, as a caveat, level 1 was insane. There was a lot of different things that happened, a lot of movement around the map and a lot of chaos. So I would expect a slower level 1, but we'll get into that after Champion Select. For WE, I do wonder if they'll still pick the likes of the Lulu in mid lane, or if they'll actually empower Xie that little bit more.
They think they should empower Xie. I think he has quite a few champions. Cassiopeia comes to mind. If he wants to take ownership of that mid lane. Some issues that he arised in the last game, honestly. You're right about the level 1 that made things hectic. There were times in which he was moving to help out the guys on the bottom side, and Rise just focused on his own lane. That could have had something to do with it. Now, of course, on your screen, you see Flawless, Mouse yawning a little bit, maybe a little bit tired. Disheveled didn't expect he was going to be playing today. He's going to be on what is supposedly the last match if Rogue Warriors can take it up against WE.
And that's what you would expect as well when you speak towards who is the favorite in this set. It's definitively Rogue Warriors. You are looking at first versus last in a conference, taking each other on. So has WE gone up to 6?
That's magic. We haven't seen you in some times, buddy. This is really fun. Nostalgic even. In fact, I haven't even seen him in the substitute roster for some time.
I mean, that's funny. When we spoke about this just before the break, you said, what do you think should change? I said, jungle, let's go to break. We come back and they've actually subbed someone in. Now, I didn't see this coming, but they did sub someone in completely. And
you were potentially about to say maybe the jungle mentality, if Pepper was a little better. Maybe just literally going towards Condi because they had that. But then they heard that little tidbit, that sound bite. And I was like, Rusty knows something we don't.
He said jungle is.
He said jungle. Change the jungle to magic of all things. So I know we were talking about the mentality that Melon had when he started out in the spring split. In fact, Magic actually adopted that and became a chain, a ball and chain to the mid lane, helping out Xie quite heavily. And it was a game, I know there was an interview done with Magic in the last split, where he said our strategy is just to free Xie so he can actually impact the map. Might be a strategy they go into in game 2.
I think that's entirely viable as well. When you think towards game 1, I would have said it was perhaps the decision-making or the pathing of Pepper that could have been changed, because he wasn't looking towards lanes where they needed assistance. The only thing we saw proactively from him was a Herald placed in top lane, which was already a winning lane. So coming into this second game, if you do have the ball and chain sitting in the mid lane helping Xie grow, you mentioned the Cassiopeia, I actually really like that. as a potential opportunity for them. If not the Cassiopeia, he's still got a very good rise. He has a lot of carries that he can play as well. And if you don't know Xie, you don't remember way back to when he was playing Assassins in 2015.
That's true.
He plays Assassins as well. So if you want to set up someone to carry, maybe you actually see him bring out the likes of the LeBlanc.
Remember, he's a gold medalist too, coming in from Asian Games, picked up the Kassadin. So for him, I mean, he just wants his disciples to follow through. If you have a question as to who you should listen to in a game-ending call or in pick ban, he's going to say, quiet up, senior coach. Look at this medal. Bite it. It's real gold. And you're going to listen to that man as you go into game number 2.
I kind of hope that's what he says, but I highly doubt that he's going to say, sorry, coach, I have a gold medal, and I didn't shot call in that set, but let me tell you about shot calling right now. I hope he does, though.
He probably did it with a broken freaking neck, man. This guy is Kurt Angle right now. Look at him. He's proud. He came out with a game 1 loss, and he's still willing to fight.
You're trying to push WWE on me right now. That's what you're doing. I wonder you.
It's possible. I just wondered if you got that reference fairly quickly.
I did get it.
Yeah. I know a few play-by-plays didn't get your Shaggy reference, but I'm willing. I'm here. I'm willing.
I couldn't believe that.
I know, huh?
I mean, I don't discredit them for assuming I meant like Scooby-Doo Shaggy, but when I say the artist Shaggy, it is surprising.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. I feel like Shaggy himself is as disheveled, a creative human being, talks to dogs, seems like an artist, seems like he came out of university on an art degree. Ah, it's possible.
Yeah. Bass guitar.
Yeah. You see a lot of WE fans. Remember, we are in Chongqing. The fans here immigrated from Xi'an. They were there waiting for their team to come back. But in week 11, they heard that their squad went up to Chongqing, and they followed suit. Yesterday, we saw and heard the fans bellowing. And losses or distance, you know, they were there. They were literally a lot louder than the Snake audience. Now, they're going up against Rogue Warriors that also has a building fan base, not as strong as WE's historic one. So you get a good indication of the magnitude of the situation for this organization.
But in terms of 2018, Rogue Warriors has only seen upward trajectory and growth. They've gone to internationals, they've been the heroes of the LPL at certain points as well, and they have grown a significant following. Subs or not, you could see even a flawless sign on your screen. So for Rogue Warriors, they will still have fans here, and if you're from Chongqing, it's a great day to be a fan of the LPL. You've got 4 different teams competing in your arena, where usually it was just Snake versus the competitor. This time around, you've got back-to-back sets and some big names competing at that. Think of Snake playing in their home arena against EDG.
Yep,
and then you've got this set today on top of that.
With big stakes as well. Going into what's going to be the playoffs, all done out of Beijing. So they get the tickets. They know unless if they're going to be going towards Beijing that this is going to be the last opportunity for them to watch League of Legends up close, top-tier play. Now they get to see Mouse come, he looks awake, he's alive. And he's willing to smack some people in the game, too.
Big Raw gets the yawns out. He's ready for action now, Mouse in that top lane. We'll see if he does get something along the lines of the Mundo as well, if he plays carries. Because when you look towards Mouse, he does have carries in his repertoire that he can play. But when you think about Mouse and carries, it's not synonymous except for Gangplank. That's the only one that comes to mind for me when I think of Mouse and I think of what carries can he play. Rogue Warriors in game number 1, they flexed the Akali. They took it to top lane. We'll see if they do that again because they flexed the Akali with a Rise, and Mouse can actually play the Rise.
And you know, with Mouse, it's always weird to see him play throughout the regular season because you want to slate him as a tank top laner. He does that every time, playing out the Mundo, as you've mentioned. But then you get those games where he's looking across, what is the Vici top laner?
Was it Yodong at the time? Or am I getting the name wrong?
That was the jungler.
Yuguan.
Yuguan, there we go.
They have a lot of roster members.
They do.
It's very hard to remember 20 different names.
And if he feels that confidence, you know, you're hearing it from DoMB2 coming into the split that they just want Mouse to carry. He comes out, you can do it very easily. In fact, when he was on EDG, he came out with the Jace picks too. It just means that when he's in pressure situations, he just knows what his role is as a tank, as a facilitator. Yeah. But he's not just going to take a back step and say that I cannot play carries. This man is a carry player when it deems fit.
And it doesn't seem like nerves, stage fright, anything like that ever gets to Mouse. He does seem like a very relaxed and casual person who just takes it as it happens. And that's actually something that can be said for a lot of the Rogue Warriors team. I mean, pure excitement on your face right now as well. SMLZ is ready for action.
He's never been more prepared in his life. This was definitely the game that he was willing to come into. Going up against WE, wanted to smack up a few people. I know that there's probably a few tier lists out there for 80 carries, and he was seeing Mystic crop up a little bit. He was like, let me try and give him a lesson.
Was it the Reckless tier list? A long time ago, people saw SMLZ's name very highly on that list, and they were wondering why. And I think near immediately he proved to everyone why he deserves to be so high on that list. With the likes of the Lucian plays that he had the second Essence Reaver came out, the new and improved, no longer improved, but the new one at the time.
Yeah, globally people always questioning the Essence Reaver buy on Lucian, but he held true to it. In fact, just had some ridiculous team fights just based off of the Essence Reaver build. So he's one of those Lucians that will go towards the Essence Reaver, and he will show you the value of it.
And you saw iBoy in the last set as well. They had a very good performance on the Kaiser, and the comparison was actually that SMLZ was ranked above iBoy, someone who seemed to be a bit more inconsistent in solo queue. SMLZ once again on the forefront of the 80 carries in League of Legends, especially in the LPL, proving why he is world class.
It's an exciting time to be alive. I know in MSI it was the big 80 carry meme. It might be the same thing again. Reckless coming back, Fnatic in finals, almost certainly going to go to Worlds. You look towards North America, Team Liquid's always on that train. Sneaky is ready not only to dress for the occasion, he's ready to take stage on a world stage. So 80 carries globally are ready for a Worlds event. Rogue Warriors looking in incredible position, having 3rd seed in the spring split, and then coming in here to just take it on points alone.
It's actually funny the players that you mentioned as well. You think of the champions that they play. Because you think of Reckless, Tristana. I think of Sneaky, I think of Quinn right now. Because he's still playing the Quinn. You think of SMLZ, I think of Lucian or Jhin. So very different 80 carry pools, but still the same carry potential coming out of them, and most likely all still going to Worlds.
So it's always fun to get people who are alongside them. You get a fresh, a young Killua right next to him. We get to see there's some inconsistencies. I don't know. I know you did a support tier list not so long ago. Trying to remember.
It was mid this time. Yeah. The support one was last split.
That's true. Oh no.
It's so hard to rank supports and mid laners. It's actually the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I was wondering, where do you think Killua's ranking right here? There are certain times where, like, a good example is Rift Rivals, where he can fall flat, but alongside SMLZ, he can get the job done.
I kind of rated Killua in a similar vein to Ming. In that the team's overall performance does influence a little bit how you would rank that player, because their role in the team is pretty much the same. You know, you want to protect your big carry. If it's Uzi or if it's SMLZ, still a big carry. If you get them to late game, they'll most likely win the game for you.
That's true.
So that's where the role tends to be for Killua, and in terms of ranking, I think Ming's definitely #1. I'd put Killua somewhere around 4th to 5th, because I think he's a very good player, but his role doesn't allow him to shine in the same way that other supports do. And in my mind, Yoon's actually one of the few that comes to mind, because he's a big playmaker at the same time as being a good support.
I was about to say, the LPL has quite a lot of strong support players. I know currently Rhodes, there's not a lot of highs on him because FDLG is just having a poor split. But the spring split, a lot of their strengths, if they happen, it would go through Rhodes. They have a lot of great supports in the LPL. I know we'll see Ming go up against Lu Mao.
Yeah, Lu Mao's a very good support in his own right. I think a little while ago, actually, FLICKR said that he might be top 2 supports in the league. I think she said that might have been top 3. But I'm inclined to agree as well. I actually think that our depth of players' skill has started to increase. And for me, I don't know what your opinion on this is as well, though, Raz. When someone said what was the weakest role in the LPL last year, I would have said top lane.
Yes.
You know, we go to internationals and 957 finds himself. Let Me obviously does also find himself in internationals. But in the regular season, it felt like we had maybe 3 top laners. But now I feel like we can say we have a lot more. The Shy, Duke, both viable options for Invictus Gaming. Mouse having a good split. Holder also now starting to prove himself on top of that. And we've got 2 top laners in every team that we're starting to say are very good options.
That's why it feels like when it comes down to a 10-man lineup in a lot of these squads, that the major benefits is just challenging that top lane position, because it was weak once upon a time ago. But like, a lot of these teams are definitely challenging, even on the lower tier. TLP is a good example, bringing in Marin, which boosted the lineup, but still challenging Marin, because you're seeing Moyu coming back up to par. So we'll get to see them going into playoffs, but it's just nice seeing that there's so much fire underneath a lot of these top lanes.
Yeah, Moyu and Lies for TOP in specific as well. 3 top laners available for that roster. But sadly, no Marin. For those of you wondering where he is, he's still sitting there on the bench.
He's there.
I'd have to imagine he's doing, you know, top lane performance coaching for the other tops or something like that. Just leaving someone like Marin on the bench not doing anything feels like a waste to me.
It does, and I think that specifically for that team, they started to realize that it's all about communication. Bringing back the SYY, you have a Korean top laner, and sure, he brought a lot of focus onto the top side, having a carry moment for himself, but then bringing back Lies and Moyu shored up a lot of communication on the top side of the map. So perhaps it's just Marin biding his time, learning the language, so he can just pop right back in and say, hey guys, yeah, I understand what you're saying now.
Even then, they went for full Chinese rosters as well, bringing Korn into the mid lane opposed to Gung most of the time. So
that's true.
I think it might be a conscious choice from TOP, honestly. And just for the record, we have no updates yet. We're still hanging out. We saw Magic was on your screen with a couple of people crowding around him, so it seems to be where the current problem lies. But we'll let you know what's happening as we find out, as we're not in Champ Select just yet.
Yeah, peripherals, just trying to get it all in order. You can already see Xie just warming up. Bit of a smile, but I'm not too sure anymore. It looks like it's just a little bit of an orchestra. Team WE, Wei Zhao. Now, he is a coach in the background for the squad.
That's true.
They've had some poor performances throughout the split. So, breaking out Wei Zhao, a popular streamer and historically one of the best AD carries in the LPL, makes a lot of sense for them to dip right back into the pocket, something that has proven successful for them in the past, to figure out what the hell is happening in the split for WE.
Yeah, it is one of those things, though. You know, Wei Zhao comes in, and you can't help but be excited at the thought of having Wei Zhao come in. If nothing else, it will make Mystic significantly better in the AD carry role. But they brought him in, and it felt like one of those too little too late type of scenarios here, because at the time they picked him up, WE were removed from playoff contention pretty much completely. And they were on struggle street. They found themselves, if you think back to their last set against Snake, WE did look fantastic as a team. It was actually a clean victory for them. And whilst it's not all WE playing well, it is a bit of Snake playing poorly, you couldn't help but look at WE and say that was a good win for them. And that's something that you expected from them through most of the split. Why does that come out only now?
Yeah, they've been getting better slowly and slowly throughout the split. So for WE, to get to this point in the, let's say, the split, and can prove to the fans, prove to themselves, honestly, that they can clean out a game, congratulations to them. Now, to make a mention, Mystic, yeah, everything's working out for him. Not Magic, though. Haven't prepared well for him, so we'll take a few more minutes just to wait a bit, get him all done and dusted. Maybe just warm up the seat, because I think that's needed for him to take game 2.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to pull out something pretty big to win this game. Of course, we haven't seen these junglers collide just yet. Flawless, the one going up against Magic. And when you speak towards WE, you know full well that they play around their mid-jungle now with Magic and Xie in the roster. But I also think that Rogue Warriors do a very similar thing if they need to. Flawless works incredibly well with DoinB. Those two usually work in tandem. And whether it's ganking mid lane or not is irrelevant, because they do it as a duo. And if you want to beat Rogue Warriors, you have to win that 2v2 in some way, whether it's getting push priority, vision control around the map. Because if you don't get either of those things, suddenly you look down in the minimap and you see them diving bottom lane with a Ryze ultimate. You're not sure how they got there. The Rogue Warriors are the kind of team that does not hesitate. They just do, and they think of the repercussions after the fact. I think that's the one concern that WE may have, is that Magic shows up in mid lane, he's like, all right, boys, ready to go. What's the go here? Are we ganking the lane?
Double kill.
And then doesn't realize that they're not there at all.
Yeah, bottom lane is definitely going to be a focus, especially since Magic needs to be in tune with what's happening in the mid lane. Now, of course, Spring Split. Cast your minds to that. Rogue Warriors come in as an organization. And they always seem to be the team that want to be catered towards team fighting late game potential. A lot of scaling when it comes to what DoinB wants to play, what SMLZ ends up picking for himself. That seems like it's changed. But one of the greatest bridges they found for themselves was in the performance of Flawless. An excellent game that he was able to net himself in the spring split, and coming into the summer split, doing just as well. Now here we are, as you can see with the coaches already, and apparently you can see Man not trying to catch a flu into the right. Steak is ready to go off for the pick and ban.
Yeah, the only stake in this game, you would have to say, Raz, is the coach of Rogue Warriors. Nothing else matters for either of these teams. Rogue Warriors 14-4, definitively first place in their conference. WE 5-13. If they're lucky, they won't finish in 7th.
As you can tell, Steak's arms by his side. The stakes are not rising. Alistar ban, Ryze, Camille, Rek'Sai, because they know who they're playing up against. Magic #1.
Yeah, he's inspired by Clearlove, so we'll see him in 6 seasons when he becomes Magic 7.
Yeah, this is definitely his rookie split, so he's like coming into this one, or season, I suppose. He's just saying, I need the first one before I move on towards second. I'll try and catch up Clearlove at some point. Now, Rakan gets locked in. Zaya's up and available. Is the Lovers duo going to go over to WE?
I mean, it'd have to right now. Rogue Warriors, they've already secured the bottom lane here of a Varus and a Tahm Kench, and it's a good duo, has a lot of control, also has very good mobility around the map, but you have given over the Zaya Rakan very freely to WE, and very freely to Mystic and Ben, the duo that we said never give the Zaya to.
Yeah, don't give it to them. In fact, WE, when they found the most success internationally, and I suppose in the regular season, it's been off of Zaya Rakan, Galio as well. Jarvan, if you can give it to him. I know that the Gragas is up in for Magic, potentially can go to 957, but the composition's forming to be a teamfight comp for WE.
Yeah, definitely is. Now, of course, with that Gragas locked in, being in the jungle role, presumably this time, the engage is even better from them. They've got a Rakan and a Gragas that can work in tandem. What you're looking at for the rest of WE, how do they round out this composition? I look towards the mid lane, and I will say that Lulu's a possibility. Ryze has been banned away, and so whilst they could consider empowering mid, I don't think Xie is one of the Yasuo players, so I don't think we'll get that combo.
Yeah.
And I would expect a much more standard, you know, be a team fighting composition mid laner from WE.
So, to that in mind, Rogue Warriors understanding that, bans the Galio. I wonder if they ban the Cassiopeia as well. Just try and nail down Xie, as you've been mentioning, because at this point, he wants to pick, and he wants to team fight. So as long as they can get those team fighters out of there, I'm really surprised that WE ends up banning the Orianna.
Yeah, that's the one that stands out to me as well. I'm not surprised by either of Rogue Warriors bans, the Galio and the Lulu, just denying some strength from Xie in the mid lane. With the Ryze already gone, with the Orianna already gone, Akali and Aatrox both removed off the Rift. Mid lane options start to dwindle. And I mentioned this a long time ago during the pause. I still think someone like a LeBlanc is a viable possibility for them.
That's true.
I would like to see the LeBlanc for Xie.
Pulled it out in the past. I know there are times where WE is known as the Elder Dragon team, but then they would just say, shut up, analysts. We can play LeBlanc and fast early too.
My concern is, whenever you do this against Rogue Warriors, right? If you're playing League of Legends against Rogue Warriors and you decide to blind pick a LeBlanc, potentially, you'll find yourself suddenly against a Poppy mid lane. You're not sure how you got here, but the Poppy prevents you from doing anything. You're diffused and suddenly you've been scaled on the rest of the map. Like, these are actually real-world possibilities that you have to consider when you're against Rogue Warriors and you're on the blue side of the map.
Now, let's say your name is 957. You know this could be your last game of the season. And you know you're going up against the Cho'Gath. You want to spruce it up a little bit? You want to spice up your life? I know you people in Twitch chat would probably say, hell yes, lock in the Alawi right quick and get a skin on that. But not going to happen. Jarvan locked into our earlier point. So it's going to be Jarvan, possibly top lane.
Yeah.
Heavy team fight around the Cataclysm, giving space to that Zaya.
And of course, the Jarvan and the Gragas can both flex between top and jungle as they see fit. If they want to have the Gragas up there, they can. Also, it doesn't hard win lane against the Cho'Gath. It doesn't have a bad time by any means. Lots of sustain between the both of them. As we may actually get the LeBlanc that we were speculating about. The composition here is done from WE. That's actually a really big threat comp.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. He may not have the gold medalist, but he's gotten that golden pick. He just knows he wants to end that game early. People talking about late game WE. He says, no, let me end it right quick. Going into a game 3. Last picks the LeBlanc. And as a response, Vladimir picked up by Doinby. So it looks like what we're going to get out of Rogue Warriors is, I'm thinking double teleport, but at the most, it's just going to be a strong front-to-back team fight, unless Vladimir finds himself in the back line.
I would respect this from Doinby if he commits to the Ignite. Of course, he's going to be against an Ignite opponent. While Xie does have an obsession with teleport, he's on LeBlanc, so he wants to have kill threat, and he's against a Vladimir. So I like the choice. The response from Doinby is, why would I go teleport and try and help the map when I need to control my lane just that little bit better to have some semblance of the 2v2? I like it. Rogue Warriors overall, their composition is not as straightforward or linear as what WE have compiled for themselves. But WE just engage all the time, use the Rakan, go forwards, hit the mark. You've got a LeBlanc that can threaten in sieges, that could potentially threaten in a side lane, a 1-3-1 as well. Or even the 3-2, where you assassinate the opposing top laner. Always a possibility for them. Rogue Warriors, I think it's a more delicate affair with a lot of strong map rotations available for them, namely through their bottom lane.
Yeah, through their bottom lane, and it seems like one of the major change-ups from game 1. He's just to empower Xie, you know? Game 1, definitely feeling the heat. Bring in Magic. Back on his Jarvan pick. Last we saw him, those 2 champions, I'd say 3 if you put in the Rek'Sai. Jarvan, Gragas, Rek'Sai, help mid, level 2. Yeah. Try and get Xie ahead. And this time around, it's no different. And we might even expect a level 2 gank coming through mid, so Xie has the pressure and can help the rest of them.
I don't doubt it. It's a very scary thing to go against the Gragas and try and, you know, work out when to place wards, when should I place vision. Because if you don't place it at level 2 and he gets the flash gank off, you lose lane. But if you ward and he goes back for boots, does a half clear and uses Predator to get on top of you, then suddenly maybe you don't have the vision or he's on the other side of the map. And really, I do think that placing vision is one of the hardest things to do against a Gragas in his current state, because if you don't have a ward in the right spot to spot him, then just like Rammus, he's going to find you no matter what.
And he's a fast one. May not change up his animations, but he's going to waddle faster as you usually expect the waddle animation on the Predator. He should be a Comet Gragas in this time of game, but we'll have to see as we are about to find ourselves onto the wrist. Game 2 between WE and Rogue Warriors.
Every single time the camera goes to a group of people, they're just like, hide my face immediately. You must not know it's me.
I feel a little bit shameless every single time a camera bombs himself on me. I mean, look, North America, get a camera on somebody and they're going to try and make a fool out of themselves as soon as possible. You come to literally anywhere in Asia and they decide, no, I hope my mama ain't watching at home. Please, don't look at me.
That's not even a shame thing. They just don't want to be seen on the camera. Now, you mentioned that it might be a Comet. Gragas in the top lane. He's actually gone towards the Grasp of the Undying. And of course, I misspoke. It's a Predator. He's in top lane. He's not actually playing jungle at all. We've got an Electrocute for Magic on the J4. So between the 2 Electrocutes that they have in that mid lane, it's a lot of high damage. What is surprising is, more often than not, junglers are going for Predator above the Electrocute in pretty much every situation because it does more burst. And when a jungler wants to gank you, they want to try and kill you in that one hit. They don't come back every 30 seconds. But Jarvan's uniquely equipped to proc that Electrocute. He can do it with just a W in an auto.
Yeah, and remember we're on 8.15, so it's not going to be on the newer patch where the Electrocute gets nerfed and a lot more people are going to be picking up Predator in the jungle.
Oh yeah,
so
people still do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing that I've found in the LPL.
So a lot of trading happening here. The range advantage there for SMLZ and Killua. Tongue Lash coming through and the extra autos to make it so Mystic and Ben still losing out quite a bit here.
There should be some decent control in the bottom lane. For WE in that 2v2, level 1 is not ideal for them. They're usually looking at 2 or 3. Level 2 having the ability to engage, if you would like, Ben, as well as sustain level 3 because you can get in and out. And really a lot of it's about where the junglers are positioned prior to that point.
Yeah, I was wondering if Jarvan was actually going to go into the early Scuttle Crab. Not going to happen. One thing you'd have to keep track of is the fact that Olaf's usually going to be incredibly low because he wants to hide his passing, so you see people start out in lanes really early on. Now, Flawless picking up the early Scuttle Crab. He's back at full HP, but early on, if anyone challenged him, he would have definitely fell.
Yeah, the scary thing about Olaf, though, is that if you don't contest him at the Scuttle, he gets most of his mana back. And a lot of Olafs, they run out of that mana before they go to the blue buff, trying to, like you mentioned, hide their starts on the map. So he'll be perfectly fine here, Flawless. In fact, he's in a commanding position through the jungle. They've even been able to spot out where Magic is through a nice ward placed on top of that Scuttle.
Oh, so now one thing I hate about Ocean Dragon. Yeah, I know, right?
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt a lot. So Ocean Dragon doesn't deal more damage than Cloud Dragon, but it slows you. So if anybody finds you, you're going to have to flash because it just doesn't stop. So he's fairly confident that he's going to be alone with it and has the sustain.
Look at his health. He has no smite.
He doesn't have the sustain!
He's going to die.
Flawless run! Flawless!
Oh, okay. God, he had another smite. All right.
We're good.
He's safe.
He's fine. He didn't hear me. I don't have to make
He's not safe.
Oh my God, Flawless! All right.
He's all right. He lived.
This is why you put in Flawless in game 2. He understands just the small details. He knows he won't die in that situation.
I don't think he fully was aware of that. I think he got to that point. He's like, Killua, if you don't get here in the next 5 seconds, I'm leaving this game.
He was probably yelling louder than I was at that stage, honestly. Trying to get someone to help him out in that situation. If I was Killua, you know this is the last game of the regular season. Your jungler just made quite a stupid decision. Leave him be. Let him die. Ocean Dragon's going to track him down.
The Rogue Warriors were doing the correct thing, to be fair. They were controlling the 2v2. They didn't give any entry as they are engaging bottom.
Tahm Kench being able to eat you up. SMLZ is going to go in for the full fight. Killua going to be very close to death. That gives a lot of power to Mystic and Ben to walk up. I wonder if this amounts to a kill at all. Killua has to get the hell out of here before he finds himself dead.
That's a scary trade between both of them, but at the end result, it actually still feels like Rogue Warriors are fine. Remember, they've got the Ocean Dragon. Magic, now he spots Flawless. He knows that he's nearby. Both teams know the junglers are in the bottom lane, so it's going to be purely passive play. But remember, a 4-minute Ocean Dragon is so influential to the game state, especially if you're trading like this. The Rogue Warriors, they'll be okay, considering that didn't go well for them at the start.
Already close to getting up to, full HP, 60% HP, just lying in wait because of that early Ocean Dragon. So Magic was in the area, was thinking about the possibilities of just helping out the bottom lane, looking for a dive. Not possible now, but CA getting walked up to. Flawless hiding his position, just trying to help Doinby push out the wave, it seems.
Yeah, this time it looks like they just want to get the recalls off, but Xie does force the flash out of Flawless. Ignite also used by Doinby. Lots of trades in the middle lane.
Kill him!
25 gold.
He was a fake. You had to get the fake news out of there. That being said, Doinby, he sees a few people. Can't really find the way to hold his control ward. I guess he has a little bit of help to get back mid lane, but it feels like Magic and Shea are oddly confident about this play. It's still a 3v2, so at this point, Shea needs to watch himself.
The teleports.
Oh, here we go. Magic is going to die to this, but I wonder if you're going to be in a proper state to fight 957. Flash in there. Very close to getting the kill. Shea nets the kill. They're back in a safe position, but that's just Flawless down, and ultimately a trade.
Yeah, Shea ticks over to 6, I believe, through even that wave. He's able to get in as well and get that execute done. So thankfully for WE, their mid laner, that gold medalist player, has got the trades available for him. End of the day, just a 1-for-1, but it was the first blood to Rogue Warriors. They'll feel pretty comfortable with getting that, especially going on to Flawless. So whilst he died, he got all the gold at the end of the day, and he's okay with some time off the Rift.
Honestly, you don't expect anything other than perfection out of Shea at this stage of his career.
Just the perfect player.
He really is. I think his mother is very proud of what he's become, especially after this month's performance in Indonesia. So WE has a way to play out this early game. It's going to be coming through Shea. Good way to come back into the fight, be able to nail down Flawless. So we'll have to see if that turns into anything as we move on in the game.
Yeah, definitely. It does open up the middle lane a bit more. LeBlanc having control does give extra added bonuses through the lane and how you want to play that one out, especially getting the blue buff right now at 7 minutes on the dot. So you can use distortions, you can clear full waves basically now. Doinby on the opposing side has rushed Merc trades. And that's a very good decision if you want to sustain in the lane, dodge out against the LeBlanc as well, just get the juke boots on those ethereal chains.
Here we go.
Speaking of.
SMLZ, of course, inside the stomach of Killua, is always safe in those scenarios, which makes Tahm Kench so insufferable to really deal with.
You have to remember that, Tahm Kench gets nerfed and is still going to get played. Whilst this is not the nerf Tahm Kench, he still gets played just because he has a Devour, and that's how powerful the spell is.
The first one is all that matters, Rusty. The first one is all that matters. Sure, in a team fight, you want to be able to have your second swallow, but the first one already makes it a tough situation. Speaking of tough positions to find yourself in, Mystic might have to blow his flash. Throws out his ultimate. Ben is in a really dicey position, but they'll actually just get out of it. Not really using their summoners.
Yeah, they're able to just pretty casually disengage, and I won't say that Rogue Warriors went too hard on getting the engage or the dive by any means themselves. They had a level 6 Olaf, so there was a chance. They commit themselves to the dive. With Clue and SMLZ being level 5, however, it's pretty hard to execute on that successfully, especially with Mystic and Ben having the summoners available and having the level advantage. At the end of the day, it's just going to dissipate. Shea is going to try and find himself the blue buff. He knows what's being done. He saw the axe.
Yeah, doesn't want to commit to it. Just going to head right back. Have the information that Flawless is going to be bot side. So that being said, Killua still not level 6. Should be able to get it on the next wave. Gives the opportunity for Rogue Warriors to play through bottom lane. Gragas is not going to be able to find the belly bop. Get out of here, Mouse. Does he have a way to be able to get out of there? He has flash, but he's holding on to it. Seems like he might just not use his flash unless he finds himself over the wall, but now he's done.
Yeah, he's done. He knew that 957 had the cask the entire time, and I like that as the ultimate's going to be used in the bottom lane. They bring Flawless in as well, and an easy dive. Doesn't get the kills, actually. They have to just call it a day and push the turret.
Mystic still has his flash, so he could walk up here. Now Ben, he's on that Rakan. The worst thing about it when you're dealing with the Lovers duo is how safe they really are.
Yeah, the attempt at the kill was nice from Rogue Warriors. A very aggressive stance as well, actually, from that TK, being under the turret. But that's what you have to do with an Olaf as your jungler. It's not the job, and it's not someone that can engage for you. So they put in a bulk of the work, but you're right. It's just an incredibly safe duo. In terms of netting those kills, hard to achieve.
And so maybe next time they'll be able to plug doing and be into the play, but he has his own struggles to deal with going up against LeBlanc. Has double, let's say, what are those nice rings? They call something else.
Dark Seals?
Dark Seals. That doesn't even make any sense for what it is. What the hell is a Dark Seal?
Do you think a nice ring is better?
It's a nice ring. I want that ring. It looks damn stylish. Anyways, that being said, Magic takes an axe to the face. He's really heavily committing towards this. They go for an all-in. You're stuck in that pit, baby. But no, Kilo is going to be able to help you out, and Magic gets burned down by Doinby.
Yeah, Magic engaging with no flash. So when you really think about that one, he may have some regrets.
Maybe.
Uses the flag drag, goes forwards, and tries to ult and lock someone in. I appreciate that, but your bottom lane was not in a fighting position. Rogue Warriors, they had control of the middle lane, and they're able to free themselves up, something, of course, that they are very good at doing.
Yeah, oddly confident he was at that position. So, doesn't turn too good for them. That being said, come back here, he says. Throws out the cask. Not much going to be done here. I know CA was thinking about it, but you don't want to touch that Cho'Gath. I feel like he's not going to die.
Might touch Flawless here instead if he gets the chance.
Oh, actually, he's going to do a lot of damage here. Uh-oh.
Chains are off.
All right, mask on, mask off. Going to go towards the mid lane. So CA's in a really good spot. 1 kill to his name. Evened out in CS, but it's going to change once he picks up this wave. So what would you like to see out of CA in a game in which the advantage is technically in Rogue Warriors' side this point?
I mean, I'd like to see him once again be freed up from his lane in some regard. The concern that WE have right now is that Magic and Pepper makes no difference. You know, Magic's being much more aggressive, but he's being preyed upon by all of Rogue Warriors. So when you think about how do we make this better, how do we remedy issues, we've got a 1-0 LeBlanc that could potentially be freed in the side lanes, and credit to WE, I feel like they have been trying. They just haven't been able to get it done. You saw the cask used in the top lane by 957. That was a look-in from WE trying to get Shea up there. And if they're not able to get those plays to happen, then for me it's just about the scaling game. Play with Mystic and Ben, let them get opportunistic moments and find the engagers. If not now, at 2 items or 3 items when they really are powerful.
And it feels incredibly annoying having the Tahm Kench being over to hover into your lane, trying to get a lick on you. Get off, please. So those are situations you find yourself in. Flawless might look for an opportunity here, but he's just playing vision control. Tahm Kench ulti coming in, so Mystic gonna have to, he has flash, he's okay. It's Ben that I'm really worried about. But a turn back, teleport coming in from the back. Doinby losing a lot of HP, should just outright die here, but he's feeling safe. Mystic so close to death here too. Just one more swallow here, but Kilo, there are just so many people in rough positions, and it's just gonna be Rogue Warriors falling in this case.
Yeah, they're going to lose 2 as well. The dive most likely not going to come on here. Rogue Warriors just have to call it a day as the WE teleports available for just Mouse in the top lane. 957, I believe, might have had his cancelled though. So WE doing very well. They saw this play happening well in advance. They mapped it out, and you'll see in the replay as well the way that Magic stanced. He was fully aware what the play was, and they counter it brilliantly.
So it all starts with that Tahm Kench ulti. Roll me in on this one, because this one looked pretty good for Rogue Warriors.
You can see Jarvan just around the corner as well. So they try and hit the engage, but again, Rogue Warriors, they don't really have engage in their composition once the Varus ultimate is gone. Doinby also with an opportunity here to maybe use the Q on the stopwatch, unfortunately times it out, and then he's just left to die. Sheer, of course, he'll come in, they'll pick up the scraps and get a second. But they Rogue Warriors, I think they push a little bit too hard for something that they do all the time, but it's a bit of a force.
I think Magic inspired Shea a little bit, using the stopwatch, going full gold, so that really empowered Shea in that specific
He saw the golden color,
Yeah, he was ready for that one. That's how he was able to net his assist there. 1-0 and 1. He's fully geared.
Because, you know, gold medalists are color-based, usually. When they see gold, it reminds them of better times, and they find that extra % to throw into a play. So, you know, nets himself an assist. Raz, very well done from him.
There we go. I mean, it's one of those opposite PTSD moments where something just triggers it and you're just ready to go.
PTID, I guess?
PTID.
Post-traumatic. It's not traumatic. You know what? Just an inspiration moment.
We'll think of something. I know Twitch chat's got something ready.
Believed in the heart of the cards.
Oh, that's always good. but he's not a luck-based player, so he doesn't need to top deck a dancing. So that being said, SMLZ
you think Yu-Gi-Oh was a luck-based?
It was luck-based. He was just a lucky individual.
So 100% strike rate on top decking.
Yes.
Because he believed in the heart of the cards. You reckon
there's a reason why that series was made. It was because someone was lucky enough to stumble in some Egyptian pyramid where he got some nice puzzle that changed him as a human being to just have more luck.
You're not actually that wrong at all. That was a weird series when you think of it in any other context.
Doinb trying to get right on top of Xie. Now, there's a little bit of a running man happening here, so Xie is not going to come back at all to take this fight. That being said, the mid lane tower is a little bit under threat. It just depends what Rogue Warriors decide to do with this pressure.
Yeah, Brolaf, of course, coming in the mid lane to threaten and prevent any kind of trades from Xie. It's one of those small things. You know, level 10 Vladimir doesn't have pure kill threat. Bottom lane, of course, the ultimate going to get used again. Flawless. And Doinb just around the corner. The dive's on. The damage is there.
They're going to have to completely give this tower up. Now, Cannon Minion, I wonder, it's just going to die here. So unless if they double down, they are going to double down. So they get the tower. Rogue Warriors not the tower for what was a mid lane push.
There you go. Once again, the second time's the charm for Rogue Warriors. The first time the Force was countered, but this time Xie, he's not freed. And no Vladimir ultimate available, no flash available, no problems. Because they play the numbers game. They use the Tahm Kench. They use their ability to control the map. And they're able to get themselves the first turret of the game to go with their first blood. That does still give them a slight slight gold advantage, even considering that they're behind 2 kills.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors still active, playing around, doing B and Flawless, just looking for those fights. Onus is going to be on Magic really to do something here. 0, 2, and 4 is not bad, but he's just getting out pressured. He wants to be able to help out Xie here in the lane.
Yeah, one concern being a mid laner against a Vladimir, regardless of the champion you are, is that he's going to outscale you at some stage. The question is always when and how does he manage to do that. This time around, Doinb, by rushing his Merc Treads, removes a lot of the kill threat on himself, and that was his power play. You know, I'm not going to die from now on, so once I get damage, I've outscaled you. Gets the Proto Belt, extra tanky stats alongside that. Not only are you not killing me, I have Wave Clear as the Vladimir in 1 hit, and now he's going towards the needlessly large rod. So this Vladimir, probably from the level 11 point, has pretty much scaled on his opponent. LeBlanc can have kill threat sometimes, but usually that requires a mistake from the Vladimir, something like using the Sanguine Pool once the chain was already on.
Now, this is the worry here for Team WE. Now, picking Ignite early on in the lane for Xie, great if you can get the kill early on, and sure, you got the advantage here on LeBlanc.
Oh,
that being said, Killua, you're about to die. Maybe they could fire. Wait a minute, they just turned it on to SMLZ. He's firing back. He's doing a lot of damage here, but just gets absolutely bursted by Xie. So, is there going to be a turn back at all from Rogue Warriors?
They're still trying.
And Mouse trying to just find one member. Mystic walks up, but he's going to feel the Tide's blood. Wait a second. Nice Cho'Gath ulti. What the hell? Magic is gone. Mystic timing out with his Ignite. One more to be able to... Oh, that's a nice shield. So, Doinb, flawless. Can you guys stop fighting? I don't think you're going to get anything else here.
They really want to fight, Rez. They want to fight, but they're not going to get the kills at the end. It's just a disengage. Credit to Rogue Warriors. They're able to get the kills on the backside of losing their bottom lane. And you're right, there was a lot of damage done by SMLZ, and Kalor actually lived for a longer time than you would expect because WE split their focus. They tried really hard to get the 2-for-1 and not just take the pick. You'll see it here. Magic, he's got the flag drag, they're on. And then notice that once they're in, they immediately shift targets. Everything goes towards SMLZ. He's able to free fire for a significant amount of time until Xie gets there. And from this point, it's just the tanks and the bruisers going back and forth with WE not having a lot left to survive. So just trying their best.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, putting all your pressure on towards SMLZ when he already still has Flash. Could have spent a little bit more time on towards the Tahm Kench. Made the game a little hectic. Now take a look at Mystic. He's like, maybe I can help when I have 0 HP. Maybe Gragas can do something when he also has 0 HP. They still come out of that one alive when they really shouldn't have.
And we're back into live, and Doinb and the turret have 0 HP, but they're just hanging on by a thread. And still the pressure will continue in this middle lane. You'd expect the turret to go down. That 1 minion may just be entryway enough, and that's exactly the case. Magic threatening for an engage.
There we go. 2-man knockup. Doinb doesn't have much HP. He's going to get charmed up. Mouse taking a lot of damage, end up falling through. They're just chasing down Ben, who also goes down a trade in that regard, but Doinb is way behind enemy lines. And at this point, there's no one here to save you. No one from the U.S. Marine Corps is coming in for your...
Oh, she is.
Oh, wait a second. CA down. That's just a long extended fight. SMLZ should be okay, but I can't say the same thing for Killua. All right. Okay. Mystic just... What? No! SMLZ, run! Oh, yeah, you're done too, son. triple white flag. WE just handily took that fight.
Yeah, the emotes come up for the ace. Rogue Warriors do get cleanly ace, and you have to look at how the fight started. Because with this ace, they break the base. There's no Baron up, however. We're only 19 minutes in the game. There's no Dragon until 5 seconds from now. But the turret is what they'll take after the mid lane outer drops. And the reason this fight's happening? Well, Rogue Warriors have no health. So they're trying to defend with no health available, and WE just find their moment.
I like Magic's double knock-up. I feel like that was just an excellent way to start it off. It got a little bit more awkward when Doomby picked off Ben, but remember him just tunneling on that? Yeah, puts you in a bad spot.
Doomby had his ult this entire time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there was a group of 4 of them, and he chose to, unless the indicators are lying to me, he chose not to use it.
It really feels like at some point, Pie's going to be on your face because, yeah, this draft doesn't like you. But with that being said, it was just a bad start to the fight for Rogue Warriors, and they all just slowly walked back in. SMLZ at some point was actually rather safe, and then at the end of the day, he just got dabbed on by Penguin.
They're trying to optimize their damage and maximize how much they can output, but that was in a losing situation before the fight started. So when you actually take stock of the map right now, that is a 5-0-4 Mystic on the Xayah. This is the pick that we said in Champ Select you don't want to give them, and suddenly here's 5-0-4. Rogue Warriors still with a fighting chance, however. The gold difference is only 2,000.
There's a possibility for a triple Ocean Dragon just because of the really early Ocean Dragon Rogue Warriors got for themselves. So WE, if they want the early damage that they have from LeBlanc to actually hold, especially with Warmogs about to come up for a few members here. Looking at the gold a little bit. It's a little large gold difference here. 957, 3-0, and 4. Has a hefty gold lead.
I have
1,000.
Good news and some bad news, right?
Hit me up with the good news / bad news.
The good news is the match of the week starts in about 15 minutes.
Oh.
The bad news is we will be cutting to the match of the week if this game continues for that long, and if Rogue Warriors end up losing this one, then we go to game 3. So remember that the stakes are high here for us if we want to see a full set completion.
The stakes are high, people. Fight now. All right, Mystic. All right, now there's slow pressure coming in from WE that have that tower in mind. And not much should turn into this one because Rogue Warriors are respecting the pressure coming in from WE. So no
like the first time in the game.
Yeah.
They're fully respecting their opponents this time. They are going to let things go. They're going to cede objectives. They're not going to sacrifice most of their HP in attempts to defend things to which they just get dove on afterwards. From the sounds of it, it wants to be full health as the fight starts. They've got Doomby.
Of course, he can't. Maybe if he can use his pool, but he's getting CC'd to oblivion. He should just outright die here, but Tahm Kench comes out and saves him. In fact, Mystic is going to die if he just does. Oh my god, at least he traded a kill. Rogue Warriors are actually in a really good position. Just depends if Shea can be able to get out of here. All in all, it was a 1-for-2 trade in Rogue Warriors' behalf.
And would you believe it, they catch Doomby out of position, but he's so tanky on the Vladimir and has a Tahm Kench that he survives, he perseveres, and Rogue Warriors, they're just dealing out damage, they're just dishing it out. SMLZ is huge. Doomby is also going to continue to trade and bully because his health bar is a resource that he actively uses on the Vladimir. Rogue Warriors, they win the fight, they get the turret.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, if footprints could be left on the Rift, I know we have discussions like that, Cho'Gath would leave some massive footprints at this point.
We need to loop people into what that conversation's about. I think it's important.
All right, go for it.
We believe that footprints, if they existed in League of Legends, would at least be funny. I'm not saying that this would be the best thing you've ever seen, but like imagine a big Cho'Gath lumbering around. You've got some big old footprints just hanging around. You're like, I've Cho'Gath's been here.
You can really feel like a Safari Ranger as if you're jungling, counter jungling, and trying to hunt for something.
The jungle would be the tracker role. That's what we would.
Yes, bring back the trackers. Just like, bring back everything that makes it feel like a Safari, man.
Tracker's knife could do footprints. There we go.
There we go.
Future's here. We've finally made that item good.
Season 9, done and dusted. I feel like with how long they end up taking to think about the preseason, sometimes even going into the season itself, we just solved it for them. Season 9 in the bag.
I'll be a little bit concerned if they choose to do the footprints, but believe me, it would excite me for at least a day.
It would definitely make me happy until a point that it's absolutely made me annoyed when 3 people are on my camp.
Like Akali.
There you go.
I was really happy with Akali until I died to one. It's like, I'm no longer happy with this champion.
Also, I know that some people gave me some reasonable issues of, let's say, Vel'Koz or Aurelion Sol floating around the map, and I just don't have an answer. Maybe they can just not have footprints. I was thinking maybe Vel'Koz leaves goo, but that just sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be like a scent trail. I don't know.
Okay, that's possible.
I think it's smell. I've been playing The Witcher.
Oh, how is that? I mean, okay, we'll talk about that later. I'm reasonably excited, but at the same time, it shouldn't be for this moment. So, Rogue Warriors, Mouse finds himself the Gragas. I feel like Gragas should be a little bit concerned about this one. But now that they have an idea of where Mouse is, a lot of the pressure around the top side can be challenged here. In fact, they're just chasing down Mouse. All right, he's... Oh my God, please. Mouse, stay in place. You're going nowhere.
That was well done from 957. The timing was gorgeous, knocks him into the wall as well, so the chains were free to hit, and WE, they get the pick. It looked like it was a long time coming, because it really was, as 957 was just stuck to Mouse for 10 seconds. But with the pick, WE, they've got control of the map. They're looking at the Baron. They are so ready for the Baron buff. It's not even funny with those control wards.
They definitely want it. Now, they're in position. Remember, Jarvan and they have Rakan. The fight can be turned. In fact, they're ready to just go for it. It just depends on how willing they are to just turn right back on towards the pit. And there we go.
I feel like they're committed to the Baron here. They really want to turn and fight, though.
SMLZ does not have flash. He's just going to have to take the brunt of the damage. But he's actually cutting incredibly well. Magic, Xie, WE should be in a good position for this fight. Killua goes down as it's close to a team wipe. Flawless just needs to get touched. Get out of here.
He's probably going to go down depending on Xie's cooldown. There we go. They're going to get it. It's not a clean ace because Mouse is alive. However, 4 members dead of Rogue Warriors. And no flash available for Mouse means he cannot get entry into this pit. He cannot nom this Baron buff away. He's just going to go top lane and they have to concede a major objective, Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, this is going to be a great moment for Team WE, which should extend the series if they can turn this Baron into some legible advantages. It's going to take a little bit of time, but they're just not doing as much damage as they would love to. But they get themselves the Baron on every single one of those members. Strong fight, Team WE.
And I wouldn't say that either team in this case outscales the other one indefinitely. I would say that they go fairly even footing unless a Baron is secured. We'll get to see this fight again.
A split-up team fight. Take a look at 957 and Xie in the back. Not participating, but they knew if they were able to net down the kill on Vladimir, that this was just going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. An immediate burst to follow up. Xie hitting the chains as well into the Varus, just knew his fate was death. And they'll follow through. They'll pick up Flawless as he just gets to the explosive.
We really planned the entire... We just have to catch him dying. That's sad, dude. Let him go.
I mean, we got to see this whole game to completion, Raz. The game 2 at least has to end before we get into our next set, our match of the week. That's between RNG and JDG.
We need to see it. I feel like we don't want to disrespect our gold medalist leader. At this point, Xie wants to find that victory. Has himself the Magi Soul Sealer with 10 stacks. He doesn't care what champion he's on. If he is on Lulu, give him side that stacks. If he's on LeBlanc, he wants them stacks.
Our gold medalist does have a gold elo item build. You're not wrong.
Are you disrespecting our leader?
He's got Magi's. I am an advocate against the pick unless the game is going to end in the next 5 minutes.
He's really
there are other options, is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, if he finds that next kill, that's going to have high value. He's going to be making max stacks. Yeah. Next contract he gets from WE, mad stacks.
Don't get me wrong, it's possible. He could make the Magi's work, but the last, I don't know, 3 times I've seen it.
No, he just dies every time he gets Magi's. Yeah. So, literally the moment he gets Magi's, his Mystic's going to have to use his ultimate, is when he dies. We'll have to see if this team fight ends up working in their favor. They're trying to actually not have a team fight going.
Yeah, this is smart.
Yeah, pulling Rogue Warriors across the map.
There's also an opportunity for them to hard rotate to top lane, specifically 957. Of course, they'll get themselves the bottom turret well navigated. They're pushing towards the middle lane with Baron buff as well, and it looks like Xie should be able to pick that one up. Rogue Warriors, they're engaging.
End it now. Killua in a weird position, but as long as they can get magic, they're scot-free. They can't touch a single soul, and now Xie is left with this tower alone.
He's going to put the Baron buff on the minions as well. They walk a bit faster. He gets entryway.
One more.
He can't
Come
get
back. Risk it all.
Oh, he's totally going to do it.
Risk it all. He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. He went top lane.
No, he's a responsible individual. I understand it. He's alongside Daddy Mystic, and so he knows that it's just not going to work out if he ends up risking his life for a single tower.
It's also 1 cannon minion is the amount of damage required to knock that one down. So he uses the big stack of minions. Makes life a bit harder for Rogue Warriors on the top side of the map, and forces them to step up to defend this if they can at all, or they just lose another turret.
Xie lost a lot of HP topside, but where do they draw the line if you're Rogue Warriors? Mao's taking some beatings here, but wait a minute, it seems like Flawless has found one of these two. I think he's chosen the wrong target. but there's no way you can catch out Xie. Oh, maybe they can get on Flawless, who was really just tunneled in on trying to get the LeBlanc at this point. Maybe found a shiny object on him. It could have been the gold medal, but now he has to back up, back to his base.
Tried to fox his way around there, Flawless, maybe separate someone from the herd. And this time around, there's a lot of mobility from Xie, so he's not going to lock him down even without the flash available. It is still an Olaf trying to chase down a LeBlanc. At the end of the day, WE, they win that significantly so. And they're able to break the base open, get a sizable gold lead, and set themselves up to succeed here.
Yeah, he probably wanted to be a little bit longer on the map because he's so close to getting his Rabadon's death cap. Might have to take an extra base.
It is an expensive soul item purchase. I do wonder how much gold he actually has as well.
Yeah.
A bit longer could actually be 5 minutes of clearing waves as well, because it's like 1,100 gold to complete the upgrade.
I would have definitely gotten the item if it wasn't for the Magi Soul Sealer sitting there, but that's just neither here nor there.
Oh, it's definitely here.
Neither here nor there. Now, WE looking to be in a good position for, if it's possible, the next Baron or Dragon. They can play it slowly if they will it to. Really, world is their oyster. Rogue Warriors can't do too much, don't have the vision as you can see. Great observer, just toggling it on and off, because there's absolutely nothing they see around Baron.
In terms of windows, when you want to go forwards, usually you'd pick
a lot of damage.
Doinby has, oh hang on, you just let him go. Yeah, he completely whiffs that one as well. Doinby has no choice but to throw the ultimate out. Now, if you're picking your timings, Xie does it well. You make sure that he's not completely stacked on that blood bank. You make sure that he's not going to get the maximum HP and damage back so that he can't trade it immediately all in. That's what he does. 2-level advantage for Xie. Pushes back Doinby, gets the ultimate out of him as well. So that's a lot of team fighting removed from Rogue Warriors.
Exactly. Now you're in a position, Mystic's walking up, a Predator being used. Doinby decides not to go in, which makes it a little bit easier for Flawless to just back on up. That being said, Doinby feeling so much pressure. I don't even know if they can actually get a fight here.
Yeah, Ben may actually even consider engaging, knowing that the puddle's gone, that Doinby's not in a safe space. And with the minions now building up in top lane, Xie is most likely going to corral those in. WE will crash upon it as well. And note that they can consider engaging. You can play it slow, but you can all in.
It's possible. Now, bottom lane wave is not really happy for Team WE. They're going to have to move towards the top lane, and if it's going to be top lane, mid lane wave is what they have to be patient on.
Yeah, they have to wait for the supers to crash, but that's also going to take quite some time. Look at the wave clear from Rogue Warriors. SMLZ, because it's in mid lane as well, it's going to be very easy for him to clear that and then go towards top. If it was, say, the bottom inhib or the top inhib that was broken, and WE split the map up even more so, then it's a hard thing for SMLZ to do in clearing those waves and rotate. It takes more time. So they're actually okay here, Rogue Warriors. In fact, as the state of the map goes, you're almost funneling gold into Rogue Warriors unless you're able to break something else. There's no Baron for a minute, no Dragon for a minute. They're just hanging out, clearing waves.
Yeah, at this point in time, remember Baron coming up in 57 seconds. Could just make it so all about that one decisive fight that is heavily in Team WE's favor. They have themselves 8K gold lead. Items are coming out too. Rabadon's death cap being finished up by CA. And looks like full build almost for Mystic as long as you can get the Maw Malmortius. So you're as safe as you can be to choose a team fight around what is incredibly warded, this Baron buff. Any way for Rogue Warriors to come back here?
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm speaking towards the one hope that Rogue Warriors have. There is still definitively control here for Team WE overall through that bottom lane. Like we mentioned time and again, this Zarya pick for Mystic is game-changing in how large it is. To be with the Baron up in 10 seconds, you'd expect all their vision control goes to this area. For Rogue Warriors to actually break that vision and even get to the pit, they risk being engaged upon. It's a Rakan, after all, who can just go hard on you. Gragas has the flash for the body slam, as well as a Jarvan, who can just go in. And if you have no vision, LeBlanc gets a flank, your carries die.
Now here is LeBlanc. Now this is going to be annoying for Rogue Warriors, having to deal with a Rabadon's death cap LeBlanc split pushing in the bottom lane. Now Mouse has to deal with him, but because of that, it's going to be super difficult to get any vision around the top side. Looks like Mouse has found his target. Jake should be able to get out of there easily. Unless if a flash comes through. We'll have to see. He is surrounded. Oh, not going to be able to get out. Oh, the Q coming in. All right. So we're going to find out at the very least if Baron can get picked up, and that's how we know who wins the game, because we're so damn close to our marquee matchup. We'll have to see based off this alone. Let's see. Cho'Gath. Oh, my God. He stole it. Rogue Warriors steals the Baron buff. Can they take the fight? That's the real question here, as Mouse does not have much HP to his name. Doinby is the next one who could be targeted. All right, I don't know about this one, Rogue Warriors. You know what? I'm gonna have to call this one on my producers. Cut the tape, cut it. We're gonna be moving towards our next matchup. White flag and all, we know who's going to win this series, and we have to get to the series at hand here. So back to us. Get the camera away from it. I don't even want to see the Nexus explode. None of that. Don't even give them the gratification. So, next matchup is coming up. How you doing?
I'm doing well. That was it was going to be game 2 to WE as well, so it was going to be 1-1 in the series, but we've got our match of the week coming up right now, so do not go anywhere.
让我们把故事传唱下去，继续书写 RNG 的传说。